Let's start out with what is emerging as this morning's big stock story, and that, of course, is Facebook. Shares are popping higher after the company's independent oversight board about half an hour ago did release their decision to uphold the company's January 7th ban of former President Trump on both the Facebook platform and the Instagram platform. Clearly big implications for Trump, the company, and other social media companies as well, and the political discourse. Perhaps one reason for the bounce, and we also see Twitter having its first up day in 8, and Snap and Pinterest, less likely comps, but still just a sense for the social media, is the fact that it was an independent board. Plus, they are saying that they must re-examine the Trump penalty after 6 months, that an indefinite ban would be inappropriate. So you could perhaps make the case that that sense of fairness around this suspension and the fact that it is being judged actively is a reason for the bounce, because as you said, Twitter had that poor quarter and those down days. As for other big tech stocks that are on the move, we do have Apple and Amazon climbing, despite the fact that there are signs of inflation, which did seem to hold back that complex for a while. Everything moving in tandem in green today, a big bounce back.
Abby, thank you. A bounce on Twitter, too, after 7 days of losses as well. I want to bring in JMP's Mark Lehman on the Facebook story. Mark, let's just catch up quickly on what we've learned in the last 30 minutes or so. Your reaction, please.
Well, I'm not surprised. I think Facebook has tried to be a leader with this message. And I'm also not surprised that they didn't close the door on the future. It is interesting, the stock reaction, but I think that's a larger message about the move to digital and what kind of a quarter Facebook had that they just reported. So interesting news. I'm not at all surprised. But again, the stock reaction is a good one.
Mark, when you take the example of Twitter, the stock reaction of the last week has not been a good one. Let's be clear about that. For these platforms, what's the biggest risk here? The loss of revenue from not having an important person like that on the platform that drives eyes to where they want them to go, one, or two, the regulatory risk that conversations like the one you and I have at the moment could fuel?
Well, I think it's probably both. I mean, you look at the Donald Trump being banned news, and everybody worried about how many eyeballs they'll lose. I'm much more optimistic that that's not the case. I've been saying forever, Facebook's kind of like that Daryl Hall and John Oates album that nobody bought but everybody listened to. Everybody's on Facebook and Twitter all day long. They just are. And the move to digital is not going to be stopped. And I think the regulatory specter has been one we've talked about for so long. And guess what? Nothing has happened. So I am not that worried about it. The move to digital is nascent. And that's why those platforms are going to continue to garner more share. And I think we'll have days like yesterday coming up. But the move to digital, like the move to cloud, like the move to SaaS, is one that's going to happen. It's going to continue, and it's early innings.